Good day, this is Jack Parker, your superintendent, bringing to you some more details about our upcoming referendum on May the 3rd, 2022. While we have made fiscal accountability and transparency a priority by saving millions of tax dollars, we cannot make up the full $6.9 million we will be losing in our operations budget beginning in 2023. To ensure the viability of our schools for this and future generations, our locally elected school board voted to place a 17-cent operating referendum on the May 3rd ballot. This will enable you and other residents to determine the futures of our students indirectly and our community. Mount Vernon is experiencing major losses to our operations fund. First, we will be losing $3.4 million of our increment dollars. The increment funds are due to special legislation that allowed Mount Vernon to refinance specific bonds and collect $3.3 million a year for 10 years. We are now in the 10th and final year of that, and beginning in 2023, we will lose all of this revenue, which represents about 1/3 of our operations fund. Second, we are also losing just over $1 million due to the new fire territory. Now, Mount Vernon completely supports this initiative to provide adequate fire protection in our community. However, it has had a sizable financial loss to school funding. Third, due in part to the quality of our schools and the continued growth in the areas that we serve, Mount Vernon has extremely high tax cap loss to the tune of $3.5 million in 2021. An even greater amount is expected in 2022. I'm fortunate to be your superintendent of Mount Vernon and have served for a little over 36 months, and this is a problem we've been working on for 35 of those months. Some of these efforts to save money include refinancing bonds, which saved us $7 million in interest, taking advantage of an excess levy appeal for transportation, and a special tax cap waiver that will expire next year. We have also changed clinic providers, reduced staff, and added energy efficiencies. Our operations costs are less or equal to schools in Hancock County of similar size. Our team minimizes outsourcing to save money every chance we get. After we implemented all of these savings, we still have a substantial gap in our operations fund. We've made significant progress, and we have no other choice other than to ask you and others to invest in our students and in our community via the referendum process. Because of our savings and our commitment to future fiscal austerity, we are requesting $3.2 million to keep the same programs and class sizes. These referendum funds would be used to support a raise for our outstanding teachers and classified staff, many of whom stayed with us despite not receiving pay raises for 5 years in a row several years ago. We simply want to pay these talented professionals a decent wage so that we can retain them as employees. The referendum funds will also be used to provide additional school resource officers to ensure the safety of our 4,500 students, our staff, and our parents. If passed by you, we will have an officer at each of our schools and 2 officers at our high school. You know, we're not alone in asking for support via the referendum process. The Indiana General Assembly granted us this option, and numerous Indiana school districts have worked with their communities to pass school referenda. We are living within our budget, and we are only asking for what we need. If the referendum does not pass, the quality of instruction offered to our students will be seriously impacted. You know, one of the common questions we receive is, if we didn't have transfer students, wouldn't our schools be less crowded and we would have a more healthy operations fund? Well, the answer is no. We increase staff proportionally to the total number of students we grow, regardless of whether they are in district or not. We do have a special policy that allows us to decrease transfer student enrollment, and those numbers have gone down 3 years in a row. For instance, we only had 55 new transfer students from new families this year, and we closed enrollment to schools that are close to capacity. Also, our total net transfer students is less than both Eastern Hancock and Southern Hancock. You know, another common question we receive is that if you're building another school, why do you need this referendum? Well, public schools have several different funds or buckets of money, and state legislation and Board of Accounts rules has very rigid restrictions on combining them or transferring money to other buckets. Our debt service fund is very healthy. This is the fund that we can pay for actual construction of buildings by financing new bonds. We have plenty of room in our debt service fund to build all the schools or construction that we will need for our future, and we can do so without raising the debt service tax rate at all. Please remember that the operations fund is what helps pay for the custodians, transportation, and many other great support staff, and this fund will be substantially short beginning in 2025. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video. If you have additional questions, please don't hesitate to reach out to me directly. You can find contact information on the website, and we have a lot of facts about the referendum on our website if you would like to visit that as well. Thank you and have a good day.